After the age of 60, many men begin to experience a shift in how their bodies function, especially in ways that feel subtle at first. Maybe it's waking up more often at night to use the bathroom, feeling like the bladder isn't fully empty after urinating, or noticing a weaker flow that wasn't there before. These are more than just signs of aging. They are early indicators of a condition known as benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH, the non-cancerous enlargement of the prostate gland. It's estimated that by the age of 60, over 50% of men have some degree of prostate enlargement, and by 80, that number rises to nearly 90%. This makes BPH one of the most common and yet most quietly suffered health issues for aging men. Despite how widespread it is, BPH often goes undiscussed. Men either dismiss the symptoms or adapt their lives around them, avoiding long car rides, cutting down fluids at night, or feeling anxious about social situations where restroom access isn't guaranteed. But the truth is, these changes aren't just annoying inconveniences. They're signals from your body that the internal balance of hormones, inflammation, and cellular function is shifting and not in your favor. When left unaddressed, prostate enlargement can progress, leading to urinary retention, bladder infections, or even kidney complications in severe cases. What's important to understand is why this happens in the first place. The prostate is a small gland, about the size of a walnut, located just below the bladder. Its primary role is in reproductive health. It produces seminal fluid, but as men age, the balance between testosterone and a more potent form of it, called DHT dihydrotestosterone, begins to shift. The enzyme 5-alpha reductase converts testosterone into DHT. And while DHT is crucial for sexual development in younger men, excess levels in older men can lead to abnormal prostate growth. In essence, the prostate continues to grow under DHT's influence, even when it no longer needs to, and that growth presses against the urethra, the tube that carries urine from the bladder out of the body. Hormonal imbalance is only part of the story. Chronic, low-grade inflammation is another key driver of prostate enlargement. Over the years, due to poor diet, stress, environmental toxins, and lack of movement, inflammation builds up inside the body, and the prostate is one of the organs most sensitive to this internal stress. Inflammation leads to oxidative damage, cellular stress, and swelling, all of which contribute to a heavier, more irritated prostate. And because inflammation is often silent, it doesn't show up as pain until much later. But its effects are very real, and they compound over time if not addressed through the right lifestyle and nutritional choices. Unfortunately, many conventional treatments for BPH focus only on the symptoms, offering medications that relax the muscles of the bladder or block DHT production, often with side effects like fatigue, dizziness, or reduced libido. And while those can be useful tools in some situations, they do not address the root causes: hormonal imbalance, poor cellular health, and chronic inflammation. That's why so many men who take those medications continue to feel frustrated, tired, and limited. But there's a better way, a path that starts with understanding your biology and feeding it with what it needs to return to balance. Nutrition is one of the most powerful tools at your disposal. Specific compounds found in fruits, vegetables, and herbs can help modulate hormones, lower inflammation, and even slow or reverse prostate growth. And yes, one particular fruit, backed by strong clinical evidence, has been shown to be especially effective in shrinking the prostate naturally without harmful side effects. This fruit contains a rare combination of antioxidants, carotenoids, and phytochemicals that target the very mechanisms behind prostate swelling. So if you've been told that waking up to urinate at night is just part of aging, or that the discomfort and embarrassment you're feeling is something to live with, understand this: you have more control than you think. When you give your body the right information in the form of food, movement, light, and rest, it responds. Your prostate doesn't have to keep growing. Your energy doesn't have to keep declining, and your life doesn't have to shrink just because one small gland inside you is Let's now explore the fruit that can help you take control and change the direction of your prostate health naturally and powerfully. Among all the natural strategies to support prostate health, there's one fruit that consistently stands out, not because it's trendy or exotic, but because science has shown its effects to be both measurable and powerful. The fruit is the tomato, and it contains a compound called lycopene that, when consumed consistently and in the right form, can actually reduce the size of an enlarged prostate and significantly improve urinary function. It may sound surprising, but the truth is often hiding in plain sight, and tomatoes are one of the most underappreciated tools available to older men looking to regain control of their hormonal health and quality of life. Now, most people are familiar with tomatoes in some form. Maybe it's in pasta sauce, salads, or sliced on a sandwich, but what most don't know is that tomatoes, especially when cooked or processed into concentrated forms like tomato paste or sauce, become a powerful delivery system for lycopene, a red pigment and potent antioxidant that has been studied extensively for its ability to support prostate tissue. Lycopene doesn't just reduce general inflammation, it specifically accumulates in the prostate gland, where it goes to work protecting cells from oxidative damage and helping regulate abnormal growth. Scientific studies have shown that men who consume higher levels of lycopene-rich foods consistently have smaller prostate volumes, fewer urinary symptoms, and lower PSA levels, a marker of prostate activity. In fact, in a randomized controlled trial, men with BPH who took lycopene supplements for 6 months experienced significant reductions in prostate size and improvements in flow rate, all without the side effects associated with pharmaceutical drugs. What makes this even more encouraging is that the most effective results came not from rare extracts or pills, but from food sources like tomato paste, simple, accessible, and affordable. But lycopene's power goes beyond the prostate. It acts as a systemic antioxidant, meaning it helps neutralize free radicals throughout the body. This is crucial for aging men, because oxidative stress contributes not just to prostate growth, but also to fatigue, mental fog, muscle loss, and even cardiovascular problems. When you consume lycopene regularly, you're not just supporting one gland, you're improving the entire internal environment in which your hormones operate. And here's where it gets interesting. Lycopene also has a role in regulating hormonal balance, particularly by interacting with DHT dihydrotestosterone, the hormone heavily implicated in prostate enlargement. Excessive DHT, which tends to accumulate in men over 60, binds to prostate tissue and triggers growth. Lycopene doesn't block DHT entirely, which would cause side effects, but it helps modulate its activity by reducing the inflammation and oxidative damage that DHT tends to create. In other words, it helps the body handle DHT in a healthier way without shutting down important hormonal pathways. Now, not all forms of tomatoes are equal. While fresh tomatoes are healthy, they contain less bioavailable lycopene than cooked versions. That's because heat breaks down the tomato's cell walls, releasing more lycopene in a form your body can absorb more efficiently. A spoonful of tomato paste, or a serving of marinara sauce made with olive oil, is far more effective than raw slices on a sandwich. And yes, pairing lycopene with healthy fats, like olive oil or avocado, significantly enhances its absorption, making it even more potent. There's also the issue of consistency. One serving of tomato paste once a week isn't going to move the needle. To see meaningful results, men over 60 should aim for daily or near-daily intake of lycopene-rich foods. This doesn't mean eating pasta every night. It means being intentional. Add tomato puree to soups. Use homemade tomato sauce on vegetables. Even just a small serving of cooked tomato with lunch or dinner can start to build up a reserve of lycopene in the body, especially in prostate tissue. Finally, it's not just about adding in the right fruit. It's about replacing the wrong ones. Many processed tomato products, like ketchup or pizza sauce, are loaded with added sugar and preservatives that can cause more harm than good. Choose clean, organic sources when possible, and prepare them simply. The goal is to support the body's natural healing processes, not overload it with processed junk that cancels out the benefits. Most men are never told that a simple fruit they've eaten their entire life holds the power to change their future health. It's not dramatic, it doesn't come in a shiny bottle, but it works. And it's backed by science, not trends. The truth is, we already have many of the tools we need. We just need to use them with intention, consistency, and understanding. In the next section, we'll break down exactly how lycopene works inside the body, from hormone modulation to inflammation control, so you can see the full picture of how this fruit supports prostate health at the root level. To truly understand why lycopene, the key compound in tomatoes, is so effective in supporting prostate health, we need to look beneath the surface. This isn't just about food or even antioxidants in the general sense. It's about how this one natural compound interacts directly with the body's most important systems: hormones, inflammation, and cellular defense. When a man crosses the age of 60, his body begins to respond differently to stress, nutrition, and hormonal signals. Lycopene, unlike many trendy supplements or medications, operates on multiple levels to bring balance back to systems that have drifted off course with age. One of the primary ways lycopene helps shrink an enlarged prostate is by addressing the overproduction and activity of DHT, or dihydrotestosterone. DHT is a more potent form of testosterone created by the enzyme 5-alpha reductase. In young men, DHT is useful. It contributes to sexual development and physical strength. But as men age, elevated DHT becomes problematic, particularly in the prostate. DHT binds to androgen receptors in the prostate tissue, stimulating cell growth. Over time, this leads to the gland enlarging, which then puts pressure on the urethra and bladder, causing the common symptoms of BPH: frequent urination, weak flow, urgency, and interrupted sleep. Lycopene does not function like a harsh pharmaceutical blocker. Instead, it works more intelligently, modulating how DHT behaves rather than shutting it down. It reduces the activity of 5-alpha reductase, the enzyme responsible for converting testosterone into DHT, and also lessens the binding power of DHT in the prostate. This means that testosterone is more likely to remain in its natural unconverted form, and the excessive DHT signaling that triggers prostate overgrowth is naturally softened. This modulation preserves hormonal balance without causing the side effects seen in medications like finasteride, which can reduce libido and energy levels. But the story doesn't stop at hormones. Lycopene is also a potent anti-inflammatory, and this is critical for aging men. Chronic inflammation is a hidden force behind nearly every disease that becomes more common with age, including prostate enlargement. Inflammation causes oxidative stress, which damages the DNA of prostate cells, promotes abnormal growth, and triggers immune responses that cause swelling and stiffness in the gland. Lycopene combats this by neutralizing free radicals, unstable molecules that attack healthy cells. It also lowers the expression of inflammatory genes and reduces cytokines, which are proteins that signal the body to create more inflammation. In fact, researchers have observed that lycopene accumulates in prostate tissue itself. That's right, this compound from a tomato doesn't just float through the bloodstream and vanish. It actively builds up inside the prostate, where it gets to work protecting the cells from internal stress. This is a critical point. Most antioxidants have general benefits, but lycopene is targeted. It concentrates in the very gland that needs the help most in aging men. It's almost as if nature designed it to be a defense system for this specific purpose. Another major role of lycopene is in cellular defense and repair. As we age, cells become more vulnerable to DNA damage, misfiring signals, and uncontrolled replication, all of which play a part in both BPH and more serious conditions like prostate cancer. Lycopene helps stabilize the DNA inside cells, improves mitochondrial function, which gives cells energy, and promotes apoptosis, the natural process where the body clears out old or damaged cells. This kind of cellular housekeeping keeps prostate tissue from becoming overgrown or dysfunctional. It also supports healthy immune function, your body's internal surveillance system that prevents abnormal cells from getting out of control. What's remarkable is that lycopene's effects are not limited to just one pathway. It doesn't simply lower inflammation, or just balance hormones, or just protect cells. It does all three. That's what makes it such a uniquely effective tool for older men. While medications often try to manipulate one aspect of prostate function and end up causing side effects in others, lycopene works with the body, not against it. It supports the natural systems that are already designed to keep the prostate healthy, systems that simply need more support with age. Most men think the only way to manage prostate enlargement is to go on medications or suffer through the symptoms. But what they're never told is that nutrition, specifically a consistent intake of lycopene, can work at the source of the problem. It doesn't just cover up symptoms, it addresses the hormonal, inflammatory, and cellular roots of prostate growth. In the next section, we'll look at how you can structure your meals and make simple adjustments to your diet to maximize lycopene absorption and prostate support, and what to avoid that might be sabotaging your progress. Knowing the science behind how lycopene supports the prostate is essential, but understanding how to actually implement that knowledge in your daily life is what makes the difference. It's not enough to simply know that tomatoes are good for you, or that lycopene can help reduce prostate enlargement. The key is in how you prepare and prioritize your nutrition, especially after age 60, when your body's absorption and hormonal rhythms shift. The good news is that with just a few small but intentional changes to your routine, you can begin turning everyday meals into powerful tools for healing and long-term health. The first and most important step is to choose the right form of tomato. Many men assume that raw tomatoes offer the most health benefits, but that's not entirely true when it comes to prostate health. While raw tomatoes are nutritious, they contain lycopene in a form that is harder for the body to absorb. Cooking tomatoes, especially in the form of tomato paste, sauce, or even soup, breaks down the plant cell walls and releases lycopene in a more bioavailable form. That means your body can actually absorb and use more of it. In fact, cooked tomatoes contain up to 5 times more usable lycopene than raw ones. So, if you're serious about using food to support your prostate, make cooked tomato products a regular part of your diet. But there's a trick to unlocking even more lycopene absorption. Combine it with healthy fats. Lycopene is fat-soluble, meaning it needs to bind with fat to be absorbed efficiently into the bloodstream. This is why traditional Mediterranean dishes that combine tomatoes with olive oil are so effective. A tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil drizzled over cooked tomatoes, or cooking your tomato-based dishes with avocado oil, or even a small amount of grass-fed butter, can significantly improve the uptake of lycopene. This simple combination turns an already powerful food into a medicinal one. Portion size and consistency matter too. Many men try a healthy food once or twice and then forget about it. Lycopene works cumulatively. It builds up in your body, especially in prostate tissue, over time. So aim for a daily or near-daily intake. You don't need massive servings. Even 2 tablespoons of tomato paste or half a cup of cooked tomatoes per day can offer measurable benefits over the long term. Add it to your eggs in the morning, mix it into a soup for lunch, or enjoy it as a rich sauce over steamed vegetables or lean protein at dinner. The key is not perfection, it's consistency. Now, while you're adding the right foods in, it's just as important to cut out the wrong ones. Many men sabotage their hormonal balance and prostate health without realizing it by consuming foods that trigger inflammation, disrupt digestion, and interfere with nutrient absorption. Processed meats, excess dairy, and sugary sauces, even those made with tomatoes, can work against your goals. Be cautious with store-bought ketchup, pizza sauces, and pasta sauces that are loaded with added sugars, seed oils, and preservatives. These additives can create inflammation, feed unhealthy gut bacteria, and reduce the benefits of the very food you're trying to use for healing. If you want to take it a step further, Support your liver and digestion too. The liver is where your hormones are metabolized and detoxified, and it plays a crucial role in breaking down dietary fats so you can absorb fat-soluble nutrients like lycopene. Supporting liver health with foods like leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables, lemon water, and herbs like milk thistle or dandelion root can enhance your body's ability to process lycopene and regulate hormones like DHT. A healthy liver is like a well-tuned engine. It ensures that every system, including your prostate, runs more efficiently. One more tip: stay hydrated and keep your gut moving. Lycopene and other nutrients are best absorbed in a body that's well hydrated and has a strong digestive rhythm. Constipation, sluggish digestion, or dehydration can all limit your ability to benefit from even the healthiest food. Fiber from vegetables, chia seeds, or ground flax, along with plenty of water throughout the day, will help keep your system in sync and allow your body to fully utilize the nutrition you're providing. This isn't about becoming obsessive or turning every meal into a science project. It's about having a basic plan that you can stick to, built on the understanding that food can either fuel dysfunction or promote restoration. When you know how to eat in a way that supports your prostate, you reclaim a level of control over your health that most men over 60 think they've already lost. Small daily actions add up. A spoonful of tomato paste here, a drizzle of olive oil there, a decision to read the label and skip the sugary sauce. These aren't just nutritional choices, they are acts of self-respect, resilience, and prevention. In the final summary, we'll put all these tools together and show you how your next meal can be a turning point, not just for your prostate, but for your entire future.